G'day guys, it's Adam from VideoShowMeHow, and in this two-parter we are going to do an unboxing and an installation of this under-seat subwoofer. Let's get started. Now if you're in the situation where you are chasing some bass but you can't fit a full subwoofer enclosure and full setup with amps and blah 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 in the back of your rig, just like me, you're going to be after something that's going to get you by, and this is exactly it. This is an under-seat subwoofer. This one's from Pioneer, obviously. It's the TS-WX130, and there are lots of different types, right from your eBay specials that are super cheap, and I reckon would probably sound super cheap as well, to be honest, but you never know. You could try your luck in the big world. Most of them have a little remote here like this, so you can tweak your boom as you drive down the road. The main thing you're probably going to be looking for is whether it's got a built-in amp like this one, so there's no nonsense as far as having to wire things up separately. It's an all-enclosed unit. Another thing is whether it comes with a full wiring harness ready to roll, just like this one. If we flip him over, you can see in here that it does come with a whole bunch of stuff, including the remote, but then also the wiring harness here, inbuilt fuses, etc. Even some little plates here, which will be interesting to see whether they work. But other than that, I guess you're kind of getting what you pay for in a lot of respects. This one here is rated to 160 watts. Even on this one here, you read into a little bit more, and it's actually only about 100 watts, and 160 is the peak. But it is what it is. This is going into the Jeep Wrangler. The step 2 of this is going to be installing it and seeing how it sounds. But for the moment, let's get this thing unboxed and see what we get. Looks like a remote. Oh, some loose screws. And it looks like the actual brackets. We also have some cabling. Looks like we have some sort of instruction manuals here, but we don't really need those, do we? We will see anyway. And the rest is just packaging by the looks. But the main event, I guess, is what we want to have a good look at. Is the sub itself. It is quite weighty, coming in a couple of kilos, I would say. But yeah, I mean, standard hand size. So to give you a fully official measurement, quite thin. On the back, there's not a whole lot going on. We have the TS-WX130 there, and everything under here. I do like that. How it looks like we could almost put a plate in there, which maybe in this stuff here we'll have a look at in a sec. But essentially everything can be nice and flush mounted here underneath from your cables, and get some protection there as well. So when this is sitting under your seat, you sort of can't be pulling cables out and that sort of stuff. Some of the cheaper ones will just have cabling on the side themselves, and it's obvious that they're going to get pulled out if this thing's moving around under the seat. On the back there though, it looks like we have a controller connector just in here. We also have the remote ground here as well, which is going to be turning the whole unit on when you turn your head unit on, so that it's not running and draining your battery. Underneath as well, we have our input, which it looks like our RCAs will be running into that. We have input level and our input gain, which of course needs to go to high. And then it looks like we've got some sort of a reset button in the back there as well. So there's the actual unit, which is what we're all here to see. Active subwoofer. There's not really much else going. It is pretty straightforward, which I reckon is pretty cool. Funny shaped cone, but hey, we'll see what it is. Apparently these are pretty good. I'm looking forward to seeing how they go. Now with our kit, as far as our cabling goes, let's check out the quality of that. Looks pretty good. So we definitely, there we go, have some RCA cables there, and this is what plugs in underneath, and that other connection by the looks of things that we just looked at. And this will give us our input for the sub. Oh yeah, everything's nice and labeled there too by the looks, which is which is pretty cool. So we've got some RCA. We then have what looks to be reasonable sized wire, which is pretty cool, and it's in a nice little harness here. So I'm assuming that we're going to have this guy probably power. Some warning labels in here as well, telling it to make sure you got at least 10 amps of power, blah de blah de blah. But this one will be the power. Let's see if they included a fuse. Oh, they did. Look at that. So I guess this is probably some of the examples of difference between a more brand kit versus a cheapie. Is you do generally get quality components that go with, so you're pretty much good to go from the outset. So 10 amp fuse in there. One of these would be a ground, which I'm just taking a punt that it might be the black one, and this one might be the remote as well. So at this point, not sure. We will find out when we do the install, which once I film that will live up in the top corner there-ish somewhere. So be sure to check that one out. In the rest of the pack, it looks like this is the remote. Basically an RJ45 Ethernet cable going on there, but there you go. That's a bit interesting. And then the remote itself. Now that looks pretty cool. This actually looks like there's quite a lot of cable here as well. As far as the remote goes, as you can see here, we have gain, which is the main point of having this all together. Min and max, we've got a frequency response anywhere from 50 Hertz to 120. Looks like we've got some phase control there as well. And last of all, we have a bass mode. Now this is going to be interesting. I'm assuming that we're going to be going for the deep bass here other than the dynamic, but we'll never know. When you get this thing installed, we'll give it a go with each and see which one works better. But all in all, quite a nice little remote unit. Looks like that will sort of fit in with most dashes and look quite schmick. Other than that, we have a whole bunch of screws and some bracketry. This looks like the little bracket that will sit over the back of the sub to keep all your wires nice and tight. So that will sit in there like that, no doubt, by the fact it fits. I'm reckoning it goes there. And then the only other things are some actual some brackets, which ideally you would have off the sides, and they would fit to a part of your seat or something like that. So you'd have a bracket that would essentially have this thing sitting under your seat nice and sturdy, so it's not sliding all over the joint, because you don't want that. That's everything that comes with. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this goes in the Jeep itself. It so far looks like quite a quality unit, so looking forward to seeing how it goes. Well, that's it. Thanks for tuning in to the unboxing of this Pioneer Active Sub. It is the TS-WX130. Be sure to check out the channel, subscribe down the bottom here if you haven't already. That way you'll keep in touch with all the new videos that are coming out, and that is the best way that you can help support the channel. There will be the installation video coming out shortly, if not already out by the time you see this. We'll link that up the top here somewhere so that you can quickly go forward into the installation mode. Thanks for watching. Look forward to seeing you in the next video. See you guys.